After 3 months, watch this. 3 months, his father got transferred. I said, I'd like to take over your route. He says, you've got to buy it. It was my first acquisition. I bought the paper route. And I said, how do I sit there and wow the customer, give them an unbelievable experience, keep them loyal, have them talk about the product, and grow my margins? And those margins were tips. What I practiced was, what can I do every day to get a little bit better? Well, I learned that I had customers that relied on me getting the paper to them at the exact same time every day. So I left my house. The papers were dropped off at 4 o'clock in the morning, the Boston Globe and the Herald Traveler, and I left at 4:17. And I counted my steps, and each paper was delivered at the exact same time, and my tips increased. And I walked around the route. When I saw a little family that has toys over the lawn, I picked up the toys and stacked them on the step. I didn't have to do it. It's not part of my job description. But as playmakers, as front line, that's what we do to raise the bar. And my tips went up. I learned that if you had a client, a customer, that there's some preferred to have the newspaper put on their step with the headlines facing them. I knew the customers that wanted the headlines facing the other way. I knew the customers who wanted the newspaper folded in half and stuck halfway in the door. There's some wanted it folded in half, stuck in the mail slot. There's some that wanted you to open the door, set it on the nightstand, and turn on the light. Customer service, emerging customer needs, emerging new ways to deliver more with their product, and my tips rose. Then there was this one lady, it was rather peculiar. I delivered newspapers, and she said, I really love your delivery. I'd like you to put 2 red rubber bands on the newspaper. I said, I'll happy to do that, but you have to answer one question. I said, why is it that at the end of the week, I see that your newspapers are out back and they're unread? She says, I'll show you. I go inside. She takes the 2 red rubber bands off, and she wraps them on this big red rubber band ball. And I was like, this is kind of creepy. And I says, what are you doing there? Watch this. Watch this. This is competitive advantage. She said, I buy the newspaper not because I wanted to read. It's because of the way you deliver. And you remind me of my mother in her kindness, in her commitment, in her character, in her consistency. She was always there on time. And this ball is the ball that my mother and I started when I was a young girl. And when you come by every day, you remind me of an incredible experience with my mother. And my tips rose. Was I in the business of delivering the newspaper? Or was there something yet bigger that I was delivering? Can I go faster?